With regard to the short-term CR, I don't think we ought to let the government shut down. I think it's going to include about $6 billion in cuts. So we're on a path, a slow path, but a path nevertheless, to get to the $61 billion in reductions of this year's spending that House Republicans were able to send over to us. So I think it should pass and will pass.
All right, that's Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell confident that a short-term resolution to fund the government for 3 more weeks will pass. But several House conservatives say enough is enough. They say they don't want to squabble with Democrats in the short term any longer, and they want to start making a permanent dent in the deficit. Bob Beckel worked in President Carter's White House. He's a Fox News contributor. Andrea Tantaros is a conservative columnist and Fox News contributor. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning, yes.
All right, Andrea, let me start with you. So there's a bunch of freshman Republicans, conservatives, who say that they are actually considering voting against this because they find this stopgap measure where you just extend it by 2 weeks and 3 weeks, they find it sort of ludicrous. They're considering voting against it. Will they hold some sway?
No, I think at the end of the day, they're going to end up voting for it. But look, they need to stake their ground, and they're absolutely right. You can't continue to kick the spending can, or the cutting spending can, I should say, down the road. And so I think this time they're going to end up voting for it. Here's where I think that you're going to see the real push, Allison, is in April when Congress has to vote whether or not to raise the debt ceiling. That's where these conservatives are going to dig their heels in and say, unless you cut spending a certain amount, $61 billion they'll probably start out with, we're not going to vote for this. We're not going to vote to raise the debt ceiling. And that's when I believe the pressure you're really going to see start to hit Mitch McConnell and Boehner, but also the Democrats. Are they going to come to the table with more cuts? Senator Schumer even said they should, but up until now, they haven't showed that they're willing.
Bob, what do you think is going to happen this week? They have a vote on this continuing resolution. Is it going to go forward for 3 more weeks?
Yeah, Andy's right. It will go forward as long as it doesn't have policy issues in it, which it means to take the money away from health care reform or gut the Environmental Protection Agency. But assuming that's not in there, and it probably won't be, it'll pass. But the April 8th date is an important one. It's not only about the debt ceiling, but that's also just before this new CR, if it passes, will run out. There will be no way the Democrats are going to go to $61 billion. There's no way they're going to go to $30 billion. I mean, when you get it now, you're now in the territory here where you're starting to make policy that runs counter to Democrats, both in the Senate and in the House and in Democratic interest groups. And so they're not going to let that pass. And I think, frankly, we really are staring at a shutdown of government sometime in April.
Is that right? Andrea, let's talk about those policy issues that Bob brought up, because the president brought those up on Friday also. He called them riders and said that they have no business in this bill. Should they come out? Will they come out?
They should come out. Absolutely. Everything should be on the table. But look, this is why you didn't see a budget passed last year from Democrats. Obama did not want to cut, as Bob said, these special interest groups, Planned Parenthood. He wants to appease the environmentalists, so he doesn't want to see cuts to the EPA. Now we're even closer to a presidential election. And I believe the president's simply running out the clock. You have Democrats, Harry Reid asking the president to lead. You have Joe Manchin saying, where's the president? Help us out here. He outsources some of the most serious and sensitive issues that belong in the Oval Office to other people on the Hill. He did it in the health care debate. He just outsources these big jobs and he goes golfing because you know what, Allison, at the end of the day, leadership is not something that's found in the faculty lounge.
And Bob, very quickly, is the president outsourcing this?
Well, first of all, it takes a lot of work to get to be a good golfer. I've been trying it myself, but
Still
look,
not there
the fact
yet,
of the matter is, this is a little bit of the Republicans' own medicine. I remember last year they were just be no on everything. Well, Obama's sitting back here and letting it play out a little bit. It's the Republicans that have got to take the lead because they control the House, and that's where money comes from. And I suspect that he's not going to get into this thing until they play their cards out a little bit more and let the American people see what they're going to do. And let me add one other thing. The idea of not taking on entitlements, even in this 2011, is just ridiculous.
Got it. All right, Bob Beckel, Andrea Tantaros, thanks so much.